If you are a fighter, Modelo is your reward. So listen close. You are strong. You are fearless. You are a fighter. And every last drop of this rich golden Modelo is yours. So raise it up high, because you've earned it. Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.
Always so fresh, delicious, and nutritious, Eggland's Best Eggs fuel the body with 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
You can support this podcast at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia.
I'm Rebecca Lavoie, and this is Crime Writers On. Crime Writers On is the original true crime review podcast that digs into true crime, pop culture, other podcasts. And on this episode, a powerful South Carolina family is laid low by addiction, embezzlement, and murder. We'll review the Hulu drama series, Murdaugh, Death in the Family. Joining me to get that done and more is true crime author, TV journalist, and host of These Are Their Stories podcast, my husband and love of my life, Kevin Flynn. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Also with us is private investigator, certified pet detective, resident cat lady, and author of The Final Curtain, Laura Bricker. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Rebecca.
And finally, filling in for the newly emigrated Toby Ball this week from the JV Club, Braving the Elements, and the E Pluribus Motto podcasts, it's actor, comedian, friend of the show, Janet Varney. Hello, Janet.
Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for having me.
We're
absolutely
very excited to have you. Before I just chat with you for a second, Kevin's going to tell us what's coming up on Thursday's show.
Yeah, on Thursday, we're going to talk about season 2 of the acclaimed podcast Hush. It's Hush, Love Thy Neighbor.
All right. And it's not about Mormons or anything like that.
No. They picked a pretty religious title there, but it fits when you get the whole theme. So we'll talk about that on Thursday with Janet as well.
So, Janet, have you been adopted by the Murdaughs? I noticed that your hair is red now.
I did it for this. I did it for this. If I'm not, do I see a glint of red in your hair as well, Rebecca? Or is that just a lighting?
Yeah, it's also it's always like this. We've got good studio lights in here, but like my hair's got a little. I'm old, so I gotta get my hair colored, and she just like throws a little red in there every time.
I'm calling her Pawpaw now.
Oh my God, so many nicknames.
Bo,
so many nicknames. Do we know why everyone's called Bo? Like, do we know, not from this source, but the many versions and iterations of this story, do we know?
It's like bro.
It's like saying boy, but you say boy.
It's like South Carolina bro.
It's like they realize, like, oh, we can't say, hey, boy. Like, that's not, that feels very bad. So they just updated it. Didn't update a lot of other things, but updated that.
It was funny because there was a moment where we could have had more exposition where those Australian dudes asked Paul at the resort, like, why do you keep saying that? And he's like, because you're not from the far part of the world that I'm from. And I'm like, that is not an explanation. I could have used a little bit more.
I feel like that codes to the writers of this series also don't know. And they just wanted to like tuck in like, by the way, you guys, we also don't know.
Nobody knows. It's unknowable.
It's unknowable.
I mean, you can't even Wikipedia it, I'm sure. I'm sure it's just an unknowable thing.
I'm sure you're right.
So, Kevin, should we talk about that thing we're supposed to be talking about?
Yeah, how about that? Let's do that.
All right. Leading off.
Come on, get over here. Your brother just got into law school. Come on. Here it is.
It's a real man.
This here's to the Murdaughs. You could not have made your mama and your daddy more proud, son.
Amen.
Amen to that.
You want refills or what?
Alec Murdaugh was part of a South Carolina legal dynasty, but the attorney was hiding secrets. He'd been embezzling from his family's law firm to maintain a lavish lifestyle and his addiction to pills. Things started to unravel when his younger son, Paul, is involved in a fatal boating accident.
What happened?
We had the boat out. It was foggy as fuck. I don't even know, bro. Look. Did they find her?
They found who?
Mallory.
A reporter turns up evidence of suspicious deaths and apparent corruption by members of the Murdaugh family. As his marriage falls apart and a civil lawsuit will surely expose his financial crimes, Alec Murdaugh contemplates drastic measures to avoid the consequences.
Ladies and gentlemen, there was a storm coming toward Maggie and Paul, just like the storm heading here right now. And that storm arrived on June 7th, 2021. That storm was Alec Murdaugh.
Hulu's Murdaugh, Death in the Family stars Jason Clarke and Patricia Arquette. Adapted from the Murdaugh Murders Podcast, the miniseries focuses on Alec's financial scams, Maggie's unhappy marriage, Paul's boating crash, and Buster's connection to a cold case. It mines the emotional consequences of the characters' actions, all leading up to a double murder on the family's property. Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about pretty significant plot points from Murdaugh, Death in the Family. So if you want to remain spoiler-free, go to the estimated time code in our show notes for our thumbs up or thumbs down reviews. Yet this is based on a real story, so you could also just look at the news and get spoiled. So, Laura, I just have to acknowledge, I think that the one thing that whole introduction did not include was that this entire family, as portrayed in this series, and potentially in real life too, is just fueled by alcohol all the time, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Alcohol, pills, it's a free-for-all in this family. You don't even know, even the young people, they're all just like, okay, we're going to go shoot some things and do some shots and go out in a boat.
Even the jellyfish.
Even the jellyfish are drunk when they fall in the bathtub.
So, Janet, like this rip from the headline story is actually still unfolding. My understanding is that Alec Murdaugh has appeals that he's been pursuing and so forth. And even if he wins a new trial on one of his charges, he's going to be in prison forever anyway because he has both financial crimes and he's also been convicted of the murders. What do you think about sort of the quick turnaround of all this?
It makes me uneasy. Like many quick turnarounds in our culture today, it feels like there's just something. I mean, it was unavoidable, right? Of course, there was going to be a miniseries about this. There has already been a documentary, which was turned around even faster than this miniseries. Of course, we are all familiar with Mandy Matney's podcast, but the more it feels like things are moving so quickly that everybody has to have a hot take right away, there's something unsettling about it that feels like 10 years from now, are we going to look back at this miniseries and go, oh my God, can you believe da-da-da? And that may not happen, but I guess I feel a little bit better when it feels like we have a little more perspective.
Yeah.
This series of events, I feel like we said this at the time and during Mandy's podcast, even just listening to it was like, this is so out of control, over the top, and it's a horrible thing to say about real people and real people's lives, but the amount of stuff that happens in a handful of years with this family feels like you couldn't sell the show because someone would be like, can you cut out a couple of these tragedies? Like, this just feels like it's laying it on a little thick. So I was very curious to see how they were going to approach some of the things. And then for me, as it happened, that kind of made one of them fall away to the point where it felt so minor. And I don't know if you guys will agree or if you feel the same way about this one particular event, but there was like one death that I thought, well, this seemed almost like it was a non-issue except for how it affected Murdaugh and his financial crimes. And that, of course, is Gloria's death.
Right?
Yeah, Go-Go.
Yeah.
It feels like almost an afterthought in the series that spends a lot of time and a lot of slow-moving moments and just like long contemplative characters staring off into the distance. And then it feels like her death kind of comes and goes. So I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, she is the help, Janet. That's why, probably.
I'm sorry, Bo. I apologize, Bo.
No, I was a joke. That was a joke, Bo. Yeah. That was a joke, Bo. No, but Kevin, the Gloria's death thing is, I think, a controversial element in this series, not just because of what Janet said, which I agree with, by the way, completely. Also because they messed with the timeline. Right. Gloria actually died before all the events in this. And when it started and she was there, I was like, what are they doing? Like, what can her family possibly think of the fact that they have her walking around in this house a couple of years after she died? Do you think that the shuffling around of the timeline is a good idea and to benefit the real story or to benefit the fictional version?
Well, I mean, for the fictional version, I think it works very well. I think in general, when they're coming in with this kind of based on true events or whatever, that it does give them the opportunity to do things that you can't do with the documentary, which we have seen, or the podcast, which we heard. And it is to sort of like use the themes and the situations as writing prompts. So that's one of the reasons why I thought the characters, by the way, were not one-dimensional, right? They were able to talk a little about, like their different motivations and give them some pathos. And I liked that. I liked what they did. They took the opportunity to do that. And so I think the writers made the most out of what they were able to do sort of unrestrained, right? Where they could make all sorts of choices. The idea of like, yeah, let's put that death like right in the middle of it, because now it's going to be really problematic because we got this lawsuit and that lawsuit, and let's have them all come together at the same time. And I think it's supposed to build towards, this big dramatic ending. We see, the walls closing in, and that's supposed to be the reason why we have, the tragic double murder at the end of the series. But yeah, I thought it's kind of a bold move to we're just going to change when stuff happened. Yeah. And you have to be willing to go along with that.
I was actually surprised that they left out the allegations of Paul being violent towards his girlfriend, because that was a very important part of the documentary. And I think there's no reason to not include it, because he was a super jackhat asshole, like for most of this series, and young, obviously being enabled by his parents and all that stuff. And I think that perhaps the series painted him in a light in which you could empathize with him. And by the way, he is a murder victim, so I also understand that. And I also understand that he's the product of his parents. But what did you think about that, Laura? Because we have heard about these people through the media, through Murdaugh Murders, through the documentary watch, but now we have a chance to reinterpret them. Do you think that reinterpretation worked?
Yeah, well, talking about Paul, who we were just talking about, I came away watching this feeling a lot more empathetic towards him. He seemed almost like a character that you could kind of relate to where he was at. He was just like a good old boy who liked his dogs, his truck, his hunting.
It's like, thing is, I'm dead too. What are you talking about? You hear me? What do you mean? What do you mean you're fucking dead? I don't got a future. Come on, man. No, it's true, Bo. And honestly, I don't even damn deserve one.
You saw him being kind of almost like he goes to Charleston, and that's a little too big because it's out of his comfort zone. And he seems more likable in this. Even, right before he's murdered, you see him and his mom having this heart-to-heart on the steps, and he seems almost kind of gentle. So I think the thing that this show did for me, being, fictionalized drama, is that it humanized the Murdaugh family in a way that I hadn't previously seen or thought about them in that way. I was just fuck these people, these rich Southern people who are entitled, and they're the good old boys network getting away with shit.
Shooting things.
Yeah. And in this, I think the family dynamics were much more front and center here in terms of the relationships between Maggie and Alec and the brothers and the girlfriend Brooklyn. And the way that they were portraying it was we're going to try to understand this family and how they could operate in this world that they've created for so long that led to this. And so for me, I came away feeling, and I'm okay, I know I've been bamboozled by the drama because I'm feeling sympathy for these characters. But I think that the way that they were portrayed, even Buster's character, you're okay, he's just staying out of this and he's not getting involved. And I think Maggie definitely, she carried off that Southern woman who's not going to show any signs of weakness, carrying on the facade of how she's supposed to act, when actually, in some way, she's as guilty as the rest of them when you look at how she treats the housekeeper.
Yeah. Well, she's also played by Patricia Arquette in this, who is a brilliant actor. Janet, what do you think about her performance in this? Because so much is unknowable, right, about the inner lives of these people and what their conversations were like. And, we can recreate the way their house looked. We can recreate the scenery. We can recreate her Lily Pulitzer outfits or whatever. But the interiority and the dialogue with her sister, for instance, you got to make it up. So you have to act that too. So what do you think of that portrayal by Patricia Arquette?
She's brilliant. She is so long been an actress that you go to when you want somebody who is just utterly vulnerable and can just play that heart on their sleeve, but still have a toughness. I mean, thinking back to my God, she was in this Lifetime movie that Diane Keaton directed when I was a kid called, I think, Wildflower. And it was so raw and so beautiful. It was a real tearjerker. I mean, it was a Lifetime movie. And then True Romance, you think through, and even up to Severance, where she's playing this pretty against type character who you still end up having this weird affection for. So she's such an amazing choice. I think she's so brilliant. And I agree with you. I think because they didn't have that information, going back to, for example, the Netflix documentary, there we do have these actual voices of the families, of Mallory's friends. So the place to take that creative and artistic license in this docuseries is necessarily going to be the Murdaughs. So you might as well just flesh it out and make them watchable, because obviously we're making the commitment for several episodes, many episodes. Was it 8 episodes? Mm-hmm. And she, to me, becomes the soul. She becomes the heart.
And now looking back on that, all those memories, are any of them real? Were they worth anything? Almost half my life. Where do I put them now?
She even is aware in this. She has a self-awareness of how she treated the housekeeper. We see that she has an awareness as she's interacting with Gloria's son and the supermarket parking lot. And then for me, maybe one of my favorite scenes in the entire series was when they were in the Bahamas, which, by the way, again, working in show business, I looked at the hotel they were shooting at and I was like, they didn't have that big of a budget, because it was like, it looked like they went to a Holiday Inn in like Georgia. And we're like, it's the Bahamas, everybody. You know, the Bahamas, where you don't leave the small hotel pool and like the 2 umbrellas and tables.
Drink that drink on the count of 3.
Yeah. Exactly. I have a lot of sympathy, because I too have been in situations where it's like, we got to make this look like a park, you guys, even though it's someone's backyard. So that stood out. But the exchange that she has, that the Maggie character has with the woman that she doesn't know, right, when it's the 2 of them, certainly would not pass the Bechdel test, but in a way it would, because she just decides to kind of try on someone else's life. What would it be like to be this other person? And I feel like that is a really great shorthand for, oh my God, this woman is miserable. Mm-hmm. And this is this tiny moment where for just a second, she gets to sort of live above and outside of her own life and imagine what it would be like not to be steeped in this family gothic, like Greek tragedy world. And so I really like that. I like that moment. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was interesting because I think, guys, right, in the public sphere, right, she is the one that we sort of know the least about or have the least understanding.
Well, she's never been arrested for killing somebody.
Of the 3 guys, like, they're each connected to some sort of bad deed, whether they committed it or not. You know, Buster's whole thing where he's sort of on the hook and then he gets let off, but he, you know, that was sort of where he was at one point. We really don't know much about her beyond kind of like what we're told. So she's, in a way, like, the character is a blank slate, and you can say, okay, well, she wasn't happy in the marriage. Okay, we can show it without telling it, and did a bunch of good things with it. I don't know, Rebecca, if you love me enough to like make sure that I get my opioids every day.
Yeah.
You know, you keep finding it. Oh, damn.
Do I love you enough so that when you have like several girlfriends, I'm still just like, well, you know, boys will be boys.
Yeah, I mean, not several. But, Laura, I want to come up on what you said about Paul, the actor Johnny Birchtold, I think stood out in this role. Okay, the wigs, maybe not great. The prosthetic chin on Jason Clarke, excellent.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
I didn't even know there was one.
Oh, my God.
Jason Clarke is a fit fucking dude. Like, he's like a good-looking dude. Like,
really?
Yeah, he blended right in. But I'll say that Johnny Birchtold, first of all, does a glassy-eyed drunk look better than anybody else. That was great. Like the first 2 episodes, he just kind of just seemed out of it, played it so well. And I will say, like you guys said, I thought that in real life, Paul was a tragic victim, but seemed like a piece of shit. And I think that this demands sort of a reconsideration of him. If only the real life Paul were half as self-aware as this character, right? Where this character is grappling with their feelings of guilt and whatnot. And again, a lot of pathos. We just don't know if the real Paul was that deep or not. But you don't have to reach deep into your pockets to join us on Patreon.
Oh, what a smooth transition, Kevin.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Right into the business section.
Right into the business section.
Wow.
You should be like
You
Janet.
still got it, babe.
You should be like Janet Varney. That is dirty. That was a dirty reference. If you've watched us, I mean, if you've watched the Murdaugh Murders or whatever it's called. And us. No one's watched us. There's no Patreon level for that. But if you join us at the leading off
3
level.
thrusts and a compliment.
Oh, God.
It could have been the name of the episode. Still got it.
Still got it.
Yeah. So you could get exclusive content like the Crime Writers on After Show. On this After Show, we're going to talk to Janet Varney and get reacquainted with Janet and all the great stuff that she's been doing. We've been seeing you on TV, the Apple TV. Did your character not dry hump somebody?
Yeah, I guess though I was in front, I still dry humped. I was going to say I feel I got dry humped, but I guess I was an active participant. I can't.
I love that show.
Yeah, okay.
We got to talk about that on the after show. I love that show so much. We're talking about Platonic, of course, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and it was a platonic dry hump. It was fantastic.
Oh, right, the TV show. Yes, yes. Yes. Yeah,
it's called Being Method, apparently. Other great content includes Toby Ball's Deep Dive Book Club podcast. The next book that Toby and his guests will be discussing is The Fire We Carry. You can also get Rebecca's weekly news show called Something's Off. It's with Mel Barrett. And it's all sort of the latest goings-on around true crime, but most specifically, the ongoing Karen Reed case.
For now. Because something's off there, my friend.
In the next episode, meet me at Sidebar.
Yes.
Because those sidebars are coming out. They talk about that. If you join us at the Bricker scale level, you get an additional podcast, and it's Laura Bricker's Leave It to Bricker podcast. Laura Bricker last time went contra dancing. Janet, are you familiar with contra dancing? It's not quite like square dancing, though, right?
No, I don't. I mean, I only think of the Contras as like the Contra scandal.
Yes.
And I know that's not the same thing. I know
Next week we're going Sandinista dancing.
Great.
My goodness.
Laura has no idea what we're talking about. She didn't have TV in the 80s.
I do, but I'll tell you, I have learned so many of our CWO listeners actually are Contra dancers. We've had people that have sent me messages that were like, I was a Contra caller and they should have told you this and that. And I'm like, who knew? So many Contra dancers were listening to our podcast.
Next time you got to go clogging.
I have a lot of clogs.
Clogging's where you don't even really move your arms, right? It's like a river dance situation where everything is just rigid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird.
You don't want...
Kevin did it as a kid.
I didn't... What?
Your sister did.
My sister was an Irish dancer. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wasn't she a champion Irish dancer?
She had medals.
Of course, she can never put them on because she's not allowed to move her arms.
That's Someone
has to put it on for her.
You know what the reason for that is?
I know what the lore is.
What the lore is?
The lore is that so you look in the window, you can't tell people are dancing. So because they're so like religious or
because
whatever.
Their arms are
But
down.
I'm like, they're still hopping around though.
Yeah.
But the Scottish people, they do like this thing with their hands. It was like, no. Let the Presbyterians go to hell. We're just going to dance. And, if you join us at the Let's Do What We Do level, you can get episodes of Crime Writers on early and ad-free. Other ways you can support us, follow us online. We are everywhere. Join us on Facebook, X, Blue Sky. Follow us on and smash that button. We still got it, babe. Smash the button.
Smash it.
On YouTube and TikTok and all the other places.
Oh, YouTube. Smash the button on YouTube.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Kevin.
The kids say that. I don't know what it is, yeah.
Kevin,
6, 7.
You stopped. Don't do that.
Don't
you
do
stopped
that.
so abruptly. Is that the end of our business section?
Yeah, thus ends the business section.
All right, let's go ahead and fade that music out.
Still got it.
Kevin?
Yes.
Who is our next fine sponsor?
Oh, we're brought to you by Aura Frames.
Wow.
Hey, what's the best way to spread holiday cheer?
Aura Frames.
Aura Frames, exactly. Gift an Aura frame and keep family near.
Aww.
We love our Aura digital frame. It's so easy to use. You just take the best photos, or even the worst photos. I mean, who are you kidding? You put a bunch of photos and selfies and video clips and even those live photos, put them all on your Aura frame or put it on someone else's frame. It's a great gift. So not only can, they use it and pick like their own favorite photos, but you can help them along.
Yeah.
What's your favorite photo that you see coming through all the time?
Oh, gosh. Anytime I see a photo of, like, our whole family together, that's number one. Number two would be anytime I see one of our dogs, which is frequently.
Yeah. And I like this feature where, it's a horizontally oriented frame. So a lot of those photos are there, but when you have, like, your selfies, how they're, like, vertical like that, you can set it up so it either just, fills out the space with
two.
Black, or it'll add two.
Yeah.
It kind of figures out like which photo matches this other photo.
Yeah.
And there's a nice photo of me having a nice meal in the kitchen, and the one right next to it picked was you also having a completely different meal but at the same table.
Nice. So for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code Crime Writers.
Crime Writers
at checkout. That's AURAFrames.com. Promo code Crime Writers.
Crime Writers.
This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Kevin, who's our next sponsor?
Hey, we're brought to you by Rula.
We are?
Yeah, telehealth has made mental health care accessible to millions of people, but finding a suitable therapist, scheduling appointments, and expensive out-of-pocket costs can make it feel like a huge barrier. Thankfully, Rula has you covered. Look, we're starting with a new calendar year. That means for a lot of folks, new health plans, new you, and it's a great time to take advantage of those benefits and find yourself a suitable therapist.
Yes.
Rula partners with a network of over 15,000 therapists and psychiatrists, enabling you to find the right therapist for your needs and preferences. And get this, your average copay is as little as $15 a session. You go on their website, boom, 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 they ask you a couple of questions, and that really helps them sort of funnel you to the right people that can get you started on your journey to better mental health.
Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head over to rula.com/CWO to get started today. After you sign up and they ask where you heard about them, please tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/CWO and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares. So, Kevin,
yes,
who's our next sponsor for this episode?
Hey, we're brought to you by Quince.
Oh.
Here's the thing about being a great gift giver.
Yes.
When you find something truly perfect for everyone on your list, you almost don't want to give it away.
Nope.
And Quince has just about everything you want on your list. They've got the Mongolian cashmere sweaters, Italian wool coats, and Rebecca, well, I mean, you're supposed to kind of be buying Quince for other people.
Yes.
But you cannot stop buying Quince for yourself.
Listen, I plan to buy Quince for other people, but everything on my Christmas list is a Quince thing. You know that.
Yeah, I know that.
You know that.
Tell them about the leather jacket. Now, you got that brown leather jacket from
it's like
Quince.
The cognac one. I got a leather little short biker jacket, and I wore it. Like, I got it like in a month, and I wore it like 20 times that month.
And what did you just do? You just bought
another
one in black.
I think one in black might be good, too. So I got a second one. It's so good. You have to admit, Kevin.
Yeah.
They're so good.
They're so good. And if Quince weren't like great sponsors of the show and friends of ours,
you'd be mad.
I would be
apoplectic.
I would be apoplectic. But you can find gifts so good that you'll want to keep them, as Rebecca does.
Yep.
With Quince.
Yep.
Go to quince.com/crime for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too.
Oh.
Bonjour, hi. That's QUINCE.com/crime. Get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/crime.
Crime. So, speaking of Still Got It, which we discussed before the break and during the business section, we have to talk about Jason Clarke in this series. Now, Jason Clarke is an actor that I've been watching for a long time. He's Australian. He's probably best known for his quasi-leading role in Zero Dark 30. He was also he's been in tons of things, but he was in House Full of Dynamite, which we just watched.
Yeah, he was in Chappaquiddick. I just saw him in the Kane Mutiny, the remake with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. And he, in my opinion,
it's good.
Does such a good job playing the disgusting, rotten man-child in this series. Like, we're talking about Maggie. Like, I personally know men who have like the man-child persona that he is portrayed to have in this series. Now, keep in mind, Alec Murdaugh's still alive, so we can know more about what he was like, right, than other people. But, like, he, I think, does such a good job being this buffoonish guy who has so much, like, local power that he's able to get away with fucking anything, drinks all the time, shoots everything, gets away with writing these $60,000 checks for his vacation while also stealing money from clients for years. Laura, what did you think about Jason Clarke as they like to pronounce it, Alec Murdaugh?
Alec
Murdaugh.
He was just a despicable, gross person, and he portrayed that so well. The hair, the face, the sweating, the vomiting on himself, passing out on the couch, thinking he was still going to get some.
The burrito eating scene.
Oh, God.
It was something.
It was like a cartoon caricature of just a gross male pig or something. I'm like watching this and I'm like, oh, God, like, I probably know people like this. This is like the good old boy. Like, he's like, oh, yeah, this man's here to come after me about my jellyfish, but here's the governor, And this man thinks he's going to get me on my permitting about my jellyfish operation. Oh, here, you two, just go talk. And, off he goes. I think it just gave such a window into like how this snowballed to the way that it did in his real life when you just see what a fucking disaster he was and how he was just burning the candle at both ends. And he probably killed his wife and his son. We know that. I think what this showed well is that he didn't have any regret for doing that. And I think when you see the three different versions of that night play out at different times throughout this series, showing what happened, not showing who did it, and then showing what actually happened, but seeing him like turn on like the crocodile tears, like he's like, and then he's like, okay, oh, no.
Well, he did love them. I think he loved them and killed them. I think that is possible, right?
Yeah, I think he probably did love them. But I think when you see the way that is portrayed, I mean, it was quite violent the way they portrayed the, shooting of his wife. I mean, that was like, shooting her in the leg to take her down like you would an animal, and then coming back and then going close range and shooting her again and again. Just so many scenes in this. I'm just like, this guy's a fucking pig. But I'm like, we all know somebody like this. And I think when you see this, it just feels so true to life. And I think the way that Jason Clarke was able to embody that type of person, I didn't like that person, but I was like, oh, that's exactly what that person was like.
I mean, I got my caseload, I got the businesses up and running, and now, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Now I got to keep out son out of prison. I got to keep out of prison. I'm the one that's got to do it, not you, me.
It reminds me of that phrase, Janet. God give me the confidence of a mediocre white man, right?
Yeah.
Alec is.
Hey, as a mediocre white man,
I want your confidence, babe. I want it.
You have it.
Alec Murdaugh is shown to be somebody who believes he can do anything, who believes he is as successful and smart as his father and brother, which he is not. And what did you think of the way this character was fleshed out in this series?
I mean, I agree with everything Laura said. I think he did a great job because it is that very specific kind of like, all due respect to grizzly bears who are beautiful and wonderful and interesting and funny and all of that. But there is this sense of, but they can also do goofy things where you definitely feel like I can be disgusted by and kind of scoff at a lot of these behaviors. But at the end of the day, I'm still very afraid of this person. And I think that there's this sort of ominous feeling that you get around this character, even when he is just being a slob in an easy chair, that keeps that threat level up there and makes you feel like, yes, he's completely capable of making these decisions that in his mind he's justified as like, well, that's just what's necessary. It's just necessary that I steal this money from the clients. I don't have to feel good about it. I'm not saying I don't feel good about it, but I don't have to feel good about it to still do it. I'm just realizing as we're talking about this, and you just mentioned his brother played by Noah Emmerich, where I had to like go back and look up a picture of the brother to see, were his eyebrows that ginger blonde and was his hair that dark? Because that's a choice.
I don't know. All I know is he will always be Stan Beeman from The Americans to me. I love him so much. And he's so good
great
in
in The Truman Show. And he's always wonderful. But yeah, I mean, he really feels like by virtue of how despicable Alec is, and certainly Gerald McRaney?
Gerald McRaney.
Great go-to if you need a patriarch who's also got a level of threat to him. He feels scary. And then Noah Emmerich's character feels like all we ever really get from him, other than that he runs and works and as his father's son and his brother's brother, he seems like he's got a real moral compass somehow. And I don't know if that's true in real life, but you have to have a few of those people sprinkled in when you're spending so much time inside of this dysfunctional family. So he was interesting because he kind of brings that Stan Beeman, like, I'm just trying to get through. I'm just trying to do the right thing and get through. Why is
clocking
this?
In and
why
clocking
do you have to
out.
do this to us? Yeah.
I thought, Janet, you were going to slip into your character from Southern Comfort for a minute there.
Oh, you guys, did you want me to do that? You should just ask. No big deal, okay?
That's not South Carolina, though, right?
I'm so sorry, Bo. No, that's like Tennessee, allegedly.
Jason Clarke's South Carolina accent, though, I thought was great. I thought it was really, really good.
Well, of course, if you're not American, you do all those accents way better than we do.
Unless you are who?
Idris Elba.
Nicole Kidman.
No, that's Idris Elba was amazing. you remember like watching him on The Wire and then for the first time hearing his real voice and you're like, that Stringer Bell? Jesus.
When was the last time you watched whatever that kaiju movie was? Cannot stand behind his accent in that movie.
Yeah.
And a couple others. But you're right. He really worked on The Wire.
Once you know with some actors, right? Mm-hmm. But other actors, once you still can't tell.
No, Jason Clarke
Matthew
disappeared.
Reese.
He disappears into roles. He definitely did into this.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely melted into it in a great way. And I was kind of glad that they made a character out of Mandy Matney.
Yes, talk about that.
I mean, she's obviously got a producing credit or whatever on this. The source material is the podcast. But I liked that when they wrote it, that they didn't lionize her, right? Her reporting was solid. They made her that kind of character. Her reporting always was solid on that, even if the production skills and the clapbacks were unnecessary for the actual podcast. I think I called it either the best worst podcast or the worst best podcast
it's a
ever made.
Classic.
It's a cult classic, right? But the story doesn't revolve around her, and I think it's smart to know that it shouldn't, but she does, the character, played by Brittany Snow, does kind of inform what is happening here.
I lost my brother Michael when I was a kid. So I guess all I want to do is try to help people, try to help them get answers where it might seem like there just aren't any.
I thought it was really good. It was a good moment for Mandy, and I think that based on her IMDb, Christmas at Brittany Snow's house this year is going to be excellent. Because in the past, I mean, between...
We've watched her in 3 things now in the past.
Yeah, between The Hunting Wives and, she still got it.
Yeah, she does still got it. I thought, by the way, Janet, that her impression of Mandy Matney was like so spot on. She just had that very, I remember first listening to, the Murdaugh Murders, I'm like, this is a person who's never listened to a podcast before because they're just like, aside from the production, like none of the conventions were there. It was like, so now I'm going to do this. And I'm like, you don't have to say that. You can just do it. But also there was like a certain delivery to it that I thought Brittany Snow absolutely nailed. What do you think?
Brandon did not choose to watch this entire series with me, which was not surprising at all. But at some point he came in and sat down and was watching it. And that happened to be the episode where we see Mandy sit down at her kitchen table with her little snowball mic or whatever it is, or Yeti, and start it. And he was like, he's seeing it so out of context. And he goes, wow, she's a really bad actress. And I said, hold on just a second. And I played out the opening of her reading her thing on her first episode of her podcast. And I was like, hold on, paused it, went in, pulled up the first episode of her podcast and started playing it. And it is exactly the same, like spot on. And Brandon was like, I withdraw my comment. My comment. And then his next question was like, but what was wrong with the like, what's happening with that podcast? I was like, we're not getting into it. We're not getting into this right now.
My greatest regret is that I did not reach out to her after listening to the first episode and buy a fucking ad on that podcast.
Save it like you saved
she was selling them for like $100. Like at the beginning of the show, like you could go on the website and it could be like buy an ad. And
I feel like getting her, asking people to hire her fiance for weddings or something.
Totally.
I forget, catering, something like that. She was like,
but you could literally just buy an ad for like, and I was like, millions of people are going to listen to this. It would be the smartest thing I could do to buy an ad. And then by like the time I actually was going to do it, it was like too late because there were real ads in the show. And I was like, damn it. I thought
you were saying you didn't reach out to her after her first episode and say, hey, I fixed Undisclosed. Please let me help you.
I kind of liked that it was janky. And I remember listening to the whole thing in like one day, like whenever we reviewed it, there was like 20 episodes are out or whatever. And I listened to the whole thing. Yeah. And I was like, this is horrible. And I cannot stop listening to it. It's so riveting.
Just audio on the left-hand channel.
Yeah, when she played a 911 call about with a boat accident, it was all just on the left and I couldn't, the right. And I couldn't hear it at all because I only listened on the left. I was like, where did the audio go?
Yeah.
What is going on? One quick thing I was going to say about that too is I thought it was interesting that they used the character of Mandy and the attorney, Mark, I can't remember his last name, but the attorney for the victims' families to have that kind of call to conscience at the end where they're sitting together and he's like, do you ever feel like us pushing so hard might have like created more anxiety and more desperation in Alec to where we are somehow culpable in what kind of crazy decisions he ended up making. And then she's like, no, he made his own decisions. We're not responsible for this.
If it weren't for you, he would still be out there stealing from so many more victims.
But maybe Maggie and Paul will still be alive.
What he did is on him and him alone.
Yeah, my head knows you're right. But damn if I don't still feel like my hands are dirty.
Well, Alec Murdaugh has, in many ways, and I will just say, I've said this before, I think the trial was very tainted. And I think that he probably did it. But I think that based on what I saw at the trial and knowing what happened around the trial, he should not have been convicted in that trial. Even if he did it, there should have been a mistrial and he should have been tried again. Because remember, the court clerk, I believe it was like telling people what happened and had sold a book.
The court clerk that was ridiculous.
There was that. There was all this stuff. And also the prosecution, they show in this series what the prosecution did not manage to accomplish in the trial, which is they actually sort of show the two guns thing or whatever. Never, like all these things are just sort of never explained at trial. It's just sort of like, he's here. Seems like he did it. It was a very, very strange trial. That being said, he does absolutely have the profile of a family annihilator with the financial pressure building, especially. I think it's the financial pressure that pushed him over the edge. Laura, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's like you see the scenes where Maggie is out trying to just go grocery shopping and her card is declined. And, you see him like writing that check to go on that vacation, to get them out of the area, to deflect and divert from what's actually happening. This is often what you hear about when you hear about these kind of cases where there's like somebody has a life insurance policy and, there's, financial problems and they're like, hey, if that person was out of the picture, I could collect on the life insurance policy and then things would be, and it's not that person starts out as somebody that is capable of committing murder, but it's like when you get into that desperate situation and it's mounting and mounting and building. And I think that's what we see here because we see his pill consumption just escalating to the point that he's like, they really do a good job with that. Like he's sweating mess, disaster with that. And then you see the situation with the other lawsuits coming down on him. His brother's like, hey, we're not letting you off the fucking hook. Because, first when they go to him with that, the woman, the bookkeeper goes to him with the check and he's just like, yeah, something happened. And she's like, oh, I'll come back another time. But his brother doesn't let him off the hook with it. His brother's like, has like this moral compass that doesn't seem to fit with like the rest of the family.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's all mounting. And then it's just like he, rationalizes it. So yeah, I agree. I don't think the trial was necessarily like there was a lot of factors at play there that made it not fair. But you can definitely see, especially in the way that it's portrayed here, how it snowballed into that situation where he then does carry out these really gruesome murders and then goes and eats a bowl of fucking ice cream.
Mm-hmm. I agree that he fits the profile. And again, I think we touched on this earlier, but he, at least as the way he's depicted in this docudrama, he seems like he finds that justification. Like you're saying, he has this rationale that I feel like it's very easy for me to project onto him based on the way he's portrayed back to us, that he's like, I didn't want to kill Paul, but what choice did I have? Look what he did. I didn't have a choice. I had to. If Maggie, she wanted to divorce me with all this happening, what choice did I have? Of course I had to kill her. I feel real bad. I'm kind of mad at them, actually. I'm kind of mad at them that they made me kill them. You know what I mean? It's that like narcissist where it's like, they made me do this. And now I have to feel bad about killing them. God damn it. Mm-hmm. I hate them for that. Like, it's just such a thick layer of like, oh, you bad. You're bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like in real life, we won't probably actually ever know, but in this form, we could. The writers could more explicitly explain what the triggering event was. And I feel like just if there's, like, I'm really impressed with the writing and what they did given the subject matter. And the only thing I felt like they could have done better was to build up that double murder scene a little better, because I felt like what we didn't see was like a trigger. We keep seeing all these things happening, the walls closing in, the financial pressure, his marriage falling apart, the lawsuit, right? All this stuff coming together at once. And it just like, we see the powder keg. I don't think like we really saw the match, right? And then we just see everything. I just felt like perhaps like what I would have done is like I would have made that last dinner between Maggie and Alec to be like far more dramatic and consequential. right? And that's like, because what else would bring somebody to drive out there into the woods with their weapons and their poncho and take them out unless you're like, this is the end. Now I believe I have no other choice. I just think dramatically like they could have lit a match, and so we get why it blew up.
But Kevin, isn't it more disturbing, and this plays into the comment that they have him say, I don't know if this really happened, but what he says to, I believe it's Maggie's sister, when he's like, whoever did this was thinking about it a long time. Isn't it more disturbing if he has been thinking about it a long time and that there isn't a trigger and it just makes sense and it's like, I guess I'll do it tonight or whatever. Like that's even more creepy that there isn't this snap point where it really is just like, I guess I'll do it tonight. Might as well. Good as night as any.
The creepy line that I got was when he was having the prison visit with Buster, and Buster asked, well, like, how come you didn't have me come down that day as well? The people who did this could have, killed you.
Well, I don't know what else to tell you. I didn't want to worry you none, I guess. And you know what? Thank God I damn didn't, because if I had, whoever did this might have done it to you too,
This moment, he already understands that his dad is the killer, and
he still supports his dad to this day.
But in this TV show, that character looking through the glass, he doesn't 100% believe his dad is telling the truth. Right?
I don't think Buster does either.
But the implication of that line was that, Dad could have very easily killed me too.
But there was hope for him still, right? Because he still thought he was going to get back into law school. He still thought that this kid was going to turn into something. He's going to put money
in the canteen account so he can negotiate 3 cigarettes. Last and final offer.
Trading his ramen for stuff. Anytime I haven't mentioned this, I've mentioned this before when we've done Murdaugh stuff. It was like the year that this was happening when some of my girlfriends and I went down to Edisto Island and we met all these people that knew the family. Because that's where Maggie had fled, and that's where when the boat crashed. And I remember we met Rhonda, the doctor's wife down there, who was giving us the whole rundown on it. And I ended up talking to a man outside who was like the landscaper, because of course I went over to see the house. And he, basically they all knew in that neighborhood that Maggie had gone down there because she had made the decision to leave him. And it was common knowledge down there that was what was coming. So it's like, the fact that she was finally at that point. But like you said, Kevin, it wasn't dramatic in the way that it was portrayed.
Kevin?
Yes.
Who's sponsoring this fine program?
Oh, have you ever heard of HelloFresh?
Hola Fresco.
Yeah, they're the #1 meal kit in America, making home cooking easier with chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients delivered straight to your door. But they're even serving up more to love now. HelloFresh has doubled its menu so you can choose from over 100 delicious options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. Look, we recently had a nice meal on behalf of HelloFresh. It was the saucy pork burrito bowls.
Oh, those were good.
With cilantro, lime rice, salsa fresca, and smoky crema. It was very easy to make. You had only like about 9 different ingredients. That seems like a lot, but it's not. I mean, that's the ground
not very
pork.
many.
No, it's not very many. Very simple to make. I really love the fact that all you got to do is to bring your own salt, pepper, and cooking oil, and they got everything else. It's like a 3D printed cookbook.
Wow.
It's just everything that you would want, and here's how you make it. It makes for delicious meals.
And convenient. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/CWO10FM. CWO10FM. Now to get 10 free meals plus a free breakfast for life.
Breakfast.
1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/CWO10FM.
CWO10FM.
To get 10 free meals plus free breakfast for life. Kevin, who's our next sponsor?
Hey, we're brought to you by Rula.
We are?
Yeah, telehealth has made mental health care accessible to millions of people, but finding a suitable therapist, scheduling appointments, and expensive out-of-pocket costs can make it feel like a huge barrier. Thankfully, Rula has you covered. Look, we're starting with a new calendar year. That means for a lot of folks, new health plans, new you, and it's a great time to take advantage of those benefits and find yourself a suitable therapist.
Yes.
Rula partners with a network of over 15,000 therapists and psychiatrists, enabling you to find the right therapist for your needs and preferences. And get this, your average copay is as little as $15 a session. You go on their website, boom, 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 they ask you a couple of questions, and that really helps them sort of funnel you to the right people that can get you started on your journey to better mental health.
Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head over to rula.com/CWO to get started today. After you sign up and they ask where you heard about them, please tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/CWO and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares.
Nothing brings us together like Eggland's best eggs. Always so fresh and delicious, plus superior nutrition like 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Score holiday gifts everyone wants for way less at your Nordstrom Rack store. Save on UGG, Nike, Rag & Bone, Vince, Frame, Kurt Geiger London, and more.
Because there's always something new.
I'm giving all the gifts this year with that extra 5% off when I use my Nordstrom credit card. Santa who?
Join the Nordy Club at Nordstrom Rack to unlock our best deals. It's easy. Big gifts, big perks. That's why you rack.
All right, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know. Should our listeners check out Murdaugh, Death in the Family? Laura Bricker, thumbs up or thumbs down for this Hulu series?
I'm going to give this a thumbs up. I liked this more than I thought I would. It was kind of like prestige trash TV. It was very watchable. It made me, see different sides to the family members. That being said, I did find myself thinking, like, how much Murdaugh content do we actually need to consume? How many portrayals of this story have we seen in podcasts, documentaries, 2020, Dateline, all these other shows? It's like we're going into our Thanksgiving week. It's like our Thanksgiving leftovers. They taste good the first day, and by next week, we don't want any more fucking turkey soup. So I guess I consumed this. I found it watchable. I always say, why now? For what it was, I thought it was well done. I thought that the actors brought great portrayals of these characters, particularly the character of Alec Murdaugh. But at the end of the day, I guess it kind of leaves me a little bit kind of having this internal commentary on the state of, true crime media in terms of when is enough with a case like this, and what is the point of telling the story over and over and over again? We all know the story. As I was watching this, I was like, oh, I know this part. Oh, I know that part, because we all know this story so well. So that being said, I thought this was entertaining. I don't like that I was entertained by something that's so tragic, Southern Gothic, horrible, tragic family situation, but I watched it. So it is a thumbs up for me.
Kevin Flynn.
Yeah, I'm also a thumbs up. And like Laura, I like this more than I thought that I would. There's some really good performances here. I think that Jason Clarke sort of captures Alec Murdaugh's malevolent optimism, that just everything's going to turn out okay, Bo. But I thought what they did with the other 3 characters in the family there, I was really impressed sort of with the writing and the artistic direction that they went. There was no need to give a journalistic retelling of this story. They took advantage of the fact that they could play with the drama. They could adjust the timeline for maximum narrative effect. And that they took the situations that these people were in and imagined all the different ways to look through this gem, see how the light catches it in different ways. The sadness, the regret, the corruption, the good and the bad. And so for that reason, I thought that this excelled. So I am a thumbs up for Murdaugh, Death in the Family.
Janet Varney, what are your thoughts on Murdaugh, Death in the Family?
I want to do Toby proud. I am sitting in the Toby Ball seat. So I'm going to give this a thumb sideways for a lot of the reasons that you guys have already described. Laura, I felt a lot of Murdaugh fatigue when I was watching this. And I kind of realized as I was watching this, and this is where I feel the Toby comes in the most, would I continue and finish watching this series if I weren't going to talk about it with you, which is an honor to do. I don't think I would have finished it. I think I would have been like, yeah, I get it. Like, I kind of don't want to be with these people anymore. And it felt, for that reason, kind of long to me. And then those moments where we sort of dipped out of stuff that felt significant to me, like Gogo's death, then I felt like, why is it so long in other places? And then certain things feel glossed over. Performances were great. I have nothing bad to say about any of that. But I also felt uncomfortable. I felt guilty. Because this is so recent, I was able to very much picture Mallory's family watching this, or just one of the family members who lost so much because of the actions of this family, and specifically this one man, but certainly what happened with Paul as well. I just felt kind of gross. I just thought like, oh God, this must be so traumatizing for them. And especially because they worked hard to humanize the characters. I just didn't know if we needed it. So I'm a thumb sideways.
I'm a thumbs up. I really try with things like this to say, like, I am judging the media itself. I agree with everything you said, Janet, about, like, I was thinking about Gloria's family. I was thinking about the beaches. I was thinking about those things. But I did want to watch more episodes of this. Kevin was like, you want to watch some Murdaugh? And I was like, yes! Which enough. I was like, I don't know what that says about me. I did think the pacing was weird. I thought the first 4 episodes felt very stretched and like there was like moved along, you know. But I also think that part of the story, the boat stuff in particular, is actually really, really important. But I do think that for the sake of making 8 episodes, that there was a little stretching going on. One thing I loved about this series, I thought the art direction was fantastic. It is like so nice when you see a series like this that's about real people and it's completely like a fictionalized version of real people, where you feel like the house is a real house. You feel like the places are real places. Like nothing is too shiny. Nothing is too pretty. Like this is what a certain kind of wealth, like upper class, but living sort of the middle class strata, like in terms of like the accoutrement of it, that's what this looks like. And I don't know, I thought it was super well done. And that really elevated a little bit for me, made it, what did you call it? Prestige trash. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to say that for that Emmys category, the limited dramatic series, that along with Claire Danes and Matthew Rhys, I think Patricia Arquette and Jason Clarke are both going to be nominated for Emmys for this. I really do.
I think you're right.
That's a very interesting category where it's like, you know, some things fit in it and then some things don't. Like were they still calling the Penguin a limited series when it was on for multiple seasons? I don't remember. But
I think The Bear is a comedy.
Yes,
so.
I know it's messed up. But I do think that Jason Clarke is going to be going up against Matthew Rhys, accent versus accent. And I do think it's going to be Claire Danes and Patricia Arquette. I think they're both going to be nominated as well.
Jason Clarke's chin versus Matthew Rhys's teeth.
Exactly. Exactly right. So yeah, for me, notwithstanding some of my ethical issues with this and some of the timeline stuff, and not enough Harpootlian, because Dick Harpootlian is a fucking interesting character, and they did not delve into that too much in this. Yeah, I'm giving it a thumbs up because, yeah, Kevin, I wanted to hit play every time you suggested it. Now it's time for my favorite part of the podcast, a little something I like to call
the crime of the week.
It seemed like the cutest...
You still got it, babe.
I know. It seemed like the cutest gift for the holiday season. An AI-enabled teddy bear that interacts with your child. But like most things with artificial intelligence, things got weird fast. The CEO of the Singapore-based manufacturer says they've recalled Kuma. The stuffed animal contains a microphone and speaker and runs on GPT-40. It didn't take long for the bear to begin telling kids where they can find knives in the house. Then, at the slightest mention of sex, Kuma would provide extremely detailed and explicit information on fetishes, positions, and roleplay suggestions like hot teacher, curious student. Toy makers say the sexually explicit suggestions were not part of Kuma's programming, but the bear somehow got there on its own. While it's unlikely a 5-year-old will use the word kink with a teddy bear, the company says it's beefing up the chatbot safety protocols. Meanwhile, a public interest group warns that AI-enabled toys are practically unregulated and standards need to be put in place. So, panel, this AI teddy bear is prone to giving kids bad advice. Laura Bricker, what's the next thing that he will tell the children?
You should take Latin as a foreign language because it's going to improve your SAT scores.
What do you think, Kevin? What's the next thing this bear is going to tell children?
Oh, invest heavily in Bitcoin.
Oh, well.
Is this bear's name Teddy Fuckspin? Because that's what
Honestly, if you invested in Bitcoin when they told you to, we'd be very rich right now.
Yeah, I suppose.
Jenna Varney, what do you think is the next thing this bear is going to tell the children?
To piggyback on Laura's Latin, I'm going to say the next version of this bear will be Summa Cum Laude, the chat GPT bear that helps you study for the bar exam. Shout out to Kim Kardashian.
Oh,
yeah, Kim.
What a good idea. Janet Varney, if folks want to watch your stuff, listen to your stuff, follow you on social media, what do you want to plug and where can they find you?
You named off some podcasts, too many podcasts. Loving the E Pluribus Motto podcast I do with John Hodgman, where we go through and use state mottos and state symbols as sort of a portal into talking about much, much more about each state in these, for now, United States. That's a pleasure. You can get that anywhere you get podcasts. You can follow me on Instagram at the JV Club. That's really the only place that I bother to keep up with anything. So I'll make it easy for you.
Laura Bricker, where can you be found?
You can find me at Laura Bricker on Blue Sky and Instagram. And you can see all of my turkey and Thanksgiving posts and cat posts.
Wow.
That's riveting content right there, people.
Riveting. Oh, please. We're all going to do it. Yeah. I'm not making fun of you. I'm going to do it too.
Yeah, you already had a
I'm
turkey.
Have a photo of Kevin with a knife, 100% by the time this thing comes out. Kevin, what about you? How can you be found?
I can be found at Kevin P. Flynn, and the P stands for Pawpaw.
Bo.
Oh, Bo.
You can follow me everywhere at Reb Lavoie and check out Something's Off on YouTube. It's super fun. Follow the show everywhere, Crime Writers On, but mostly I encourage you to join our incredible Facebook discussion group. It is so fun there. The people are great. Get everything we make at Patreon at patreon.com/partnersincrimemedia. Our theme song was composed and performed by Tyler Gibbons, and our editor is the terrific Livy Burdett. The EP of this show is Kevin. This show was recorded in the Caitlin Rogers Project Studio, also known as Studio C, the Closet, in our New Hampshire basement, where we also refer to everyone as Bo. On behalf of all the crime writers, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you later.
Well, I'm going to piggyback off of Laura and also say quickly that I'm really glad you pronounced it Kuma, because I thought maybe you would pronounce it differently. I'll let everyone imagine what I thought. But
it was Kama that you were thinking of.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, let's do what we do. Let's let our listeners know, should they check out, wait, what the fuck is this thing called? Hold on.
Murdaugh.
Okay. It's not the Murdaugh Murders. I know that because that was taken. All right.
Partners in Crime Media.
Hey, everybody. It's Rob Lowe here. If you haven't heard, I have a podcast that's called Literally with Rob Lowe. And basically, it's conversations I've had that really make you feel like you're pulling up a chair at an intimate dinner between myself and people that I admire, like Aaron Sorkin or Tiffany Haddish, Demi Moore, Chris Pratt, Michael J. Fox. There are new episodes out every Thursday. So subscribe, please, and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Nothing brings us together like Eggland's Best Eggs. Always so fresh and delicious, plus superior nutrition like 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
Score holiday gifts everyone wants for way less at your Nordstrom Rack store. Save on UGG, Nike, Rag & Bone, Vince, Frame, Kurt Geiger London, and more.
Because there's always something new.
I'm giving all the gifts this year with that extra 5% off when I use my Nordstrom credit card. Santa who?
Join the Nordy Club at Nordstrom Rack to unlock our best deals. It's easy. Big gifts, big perks. That's why you rack.